بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، صلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. As you remember, our workshop is dealing with one of the Islamic sciences known as Qawa'id Al Fiqhiyyah, the legal maxim or the fiqhi rules. And we have stated before that Islamic knowledge is divided into two types. Original knowledge, that is the knowledge of the Quran, of the Sunnah, and of course the Tawheed, which is the most important knowledge of all, because it is the knowledge about Allah Azza wa Jal. And there are auxiliary sciences that would help you perfect the original sciences, such as the fundamentals of fiqh, the fundamentals of Quran or usul al-Quran, or the sciences of the Quran, and also the fundamentals of hadith or mustalah al-hadith, the sciences dealing with Arabic language, etc. And there is a third type of sciences that is like spices you put on a meal. And these spices, they are something that would add value to you while studying, but it's not essential, such as the books of history, the books of men, which tells you that this narrator of the hadith, his life story is like this or that, the biography of the companions, may Allah be pleased with them, with the tabi'een, with the scholars, etc. And also other types of spices like books and knowledge that would help a student of knowledge to entertain himself. See, you cannot study 24/7, only Quran and Sunnah, Quran and Sunnah. You need time off. So if I need to entertain myself, what to do? These are the places you go to. You go to the biography of the companions, reading the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, reading books of poetry to elevate your level of Arabic so that you can have a better understanding of the Quran and the Sunnah. These things that would entertain you. Now, our topic is Al-Qawa'id Al Fiqhiyyah, which means that the fiqhi rules. And the word fiqh, we always hear a lot about it. And also usul al-fiqh. So it would be highly recommended to understand the definition of each of these sciences. Why? If you study something and you don't know what this thing is, then definitely you have a problem. If you buy an airline ticket, first class, mashallah, and you're very happy you paid a big amount of money for it, and 7 o'clock in the morning, your bags are packed and you're going. And someone tells you, where are you going? Said, to the airport. Mashallah, where are you traveling to? You say, I don't know, but I have a ticket. This is not realistic. You have to know where you're going and what is the place you're going to and how to define it. So in order for us to study fiqh, what is fiqh? Linguistically, fiqh is to understand. Linguistically, in Arabic, fiqh is to understand and to comprehend. But technically speaking, the scholars say that technically it is knowledge of the practical, legal rulings pertaining to actions which are derived from the detailed evidences. That's a long definition. You have to understand. In fiqh, every single word has a meaning. And it was not put there just because it makes it look nice. No, it was meant to be. And fiqh is similar to law. If you want to start a business with someone, what is the first thing you write down? a legal contract. Now, in the legal contract, no one can come and say, point B, 3 lines, this is not meant to be, just like this. No, I didn't mean it. No. Every single word counts. In fiqh is more than that. Because fiqh is jurisprudent. It's the Sharia law. It is the Islamic law. So everything is meant to be. So the definition goes as follows. Knowledge of the practical legal rulings pertaining to actions which are derived from detailed evidences. So when we say that's practical and it is pertaining to actions, this is the knowledge that is practical. Why do we say practical? Because fiqh, the one we talk about, is not related to conviction and to aqeedah. It is related to actions such as salah, wudu, hajj, divorce, marriage, selling, buying, leasing. These are all practical. Pertaining to what? Pertaining to actions. Though al-aqeedah is part of the bigger picture of understanding and comprehension, fiqh, but when we say fiqh, everybody knows that it is what we have defined when we say which are derived from the detailed evidences. Fiqh comes from detailed evidences. It doesn't come from general evidences. So when I say that passing wind nullifies wudu, this is a ruling. Where did I get it from? From the hadith XYZ. When I say hajj is mandatory once in a lifetime, where did I get it from? From the ayah so-and-so, hadith so-and-so. So this is the detailed evidences. And when we say knowledge that is taken from detailed evidences, this means that there are 2 types of a student of knowledge or a scholar. There are 2 types. The first type is a real scholar, is a real student of knowledge. When you come to him and say, Akhi, when you pray, why do you raise your hands and say Allahu Akbar and put your right hand on your left hand on the chest? A real scholar would tell you, because Wa'il ibn Hujr, may Allah be pleased with him, the companion of the Prophet, said that the Prophet ﷺ said that we, the prophets, put our right hand on the left hand on the chest. And he said that the Prophet used to put his right hand on the left hand on the chest while standing in prayer. So where did he get the ruling from? From the hadith. Now, someone who's not a real scholar or a real student of knowledge, someone who is a muqallid, who studied the Hanbali book from A to Z, from cover to cover. When you ask him, what is the ruling on this? He said, Imam Ahmad said so-and-so. Or his student XYZ said so-and-so. In the book so-and-so that pertains to the Shafi'i madhab or Hanafi madhab or Maliki madhab, they said so-and-so. Okay, what is the evidence? He doesn't know. This one cannot be a scholar. He's a muqallid. And this is why a real student of knowledge has to base his knowledge on what? On what? Evidences from the Quran and from the Sunnah. Your knowledge is based on what? Quran and Sunnah. But if your knowledge is based on Sheikh so-and-so said, and I'm following him, this is not real knowledge. For you, students of knowledge, you must learn from the sources. Having said that, you have to be careful. Again, not anyone who asks about the evidence is a student of knowledge. Sometimes I speak to brothers like you, and I say, the ruling is so-and-so. And someone stands, and says, what is your dalil? Wow, whoa, what is your evidence? I said, okay, do you know Arabic? I said, no. Do you memorize the Quran? I said, no. Have you gone to the Sunnah? Bukhari, Muslim, have you read them? I said, no. So, ya akhi, if I give you the dalil, how would you know that this dalil is correct or not? And so many times on Facebook and Twitter, I say this ruling is so-and-so. One asks me, what is your dalil? I give him the dalil. He writes back, what is the reference? I give him the reference. He said, I don't have books in Arabic. Can you give me the reference in English? What kind of student of knowledge is this? If you do not know, learn. But don't think that just because you ask for a dalil or you know a hadith or two, that you have become a good, strong, powerful student of knowledge with the ability to speak to Sheikh bin Baz or bin Uthaymeen and say, what's your dalil? I have this manhaj that I follow. This is all wrong and nonsense. You have to start from scratch and build your way up with humbleness and with humility so that you acquire the knowledge that gets you closer to Allah, not the knowledge that makes you debate people. I don't want to debate people. I want to get to Jannah. If I can go to Jannah without debating, alhamdulillah, this is what I want. We have a short break. Stay tuned. And inshallah, we'll be right back.
Zakir Naik.
The best solution for the problems of humanity can be given by the sustainer, by the cherisher of the humankind, of the whole world, as well as the whole universe. This deen, this religion of peace, submitting our will to Almighty God, is the only solution for the problems of humankind.
Challenging questions on Islam to get convincing answers. Join Dr. Zakir Naik in Is Islam the Solution for Humanity? In Truth Exposed, next on Peace TV.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Now, this is the second half of the workshop. So if you have any questions, raise your hand and I'll interrupt what I'm saying and try to attend your question. If not, we will go, inshallah, till the very end. So we have defined what now? Fiqh. We have defined fiqh. So one says to you, well, did you study fiqh? The answer is definitely. You studied in your school, salat, wudu, hajj, fasting, pilgrimage, zakat. This is all type of fiqh. If you studied with us last year, Umdat Al Hakeem, this is fiqh from A to Z. What does it deal with? It deals with the individual. How can he practice Islam? The jurisprudence, the laws of Islam. We have something that is a little bit more technical. Indeed, much difficult. Fiqh is something that we can all understand and relate to, inshallah, because we are applying it. But there is something that only students of knowledge and scholars can look into, and this is known as Usul Al Fiqh. Asl is a singular. The plural is Usul. And Asl has a number of meanings, but what we mean here is to be the pillar or the foundation. And Usul Al Fiqh, fiqh, we have gone through the meaning of it. So when we come to Usul Al Fiqh, it is the principles, the science, the principles through which the practical Sharia rulings are extracted from their detailed and holistic evidences. Now, fiqh is knowledge, and this knowledge is practical, and it is obtained from the detailed evidences. Usul al-fiqh is a different set because it is the principles. And these principles, they are of the Sharia rulings which are extracted from the general, holistic evidences. Can you give us an example? When we say principles, Usul al-fiqh, if you study it, it's this big. Yani it's not a big book, but it can be explained in volumes. What does it deal with, Usul al-fiqh? Usul al-Fiqh deals with the Sharia rulings, meaning in wudu, it tells you that you have to wash your hands 3 times, make a madmada in your mouth, turn it, sniff water and blow it, and wash your face, etc. This is fiqh. In the usul al-fiqh, the fundamentals of fiqh, it is unlike that. It deals with the orders themselves. So it deals with the established prayer. Aqim as-salat. This is an order. So usul al-fiqh studies the linguistic meaning of order. What does it mean? So if I tell you, pray, this is an order. And if I tell you, come tomorrow, this is an order. Are they the same? One is do it, meaning now. And the other one is an order, but it doesn't mean do it. It means if you wish, if you can. And this is one of the branches or issues studied in usul al-fiqh. They say order in Islam means a must, an obligation, unless another evidence comes and makes it recommended. Now, is there any evidence related to this? No. Usul al-fiqh doesn't give you evidences. Rarely it gives you an evidence. It gives you set of principles. And this set of principles is so important that it doesn't usually have exceptions. It is like a formula, an equation. 1 + 1 = 2. Maybe sometimes equal 3. No. 1 + 1 = 2. And that is why it is implemented on all types of sciences. So Allah Azza wa Jal says something in the Quran, you have to do it. And nahi, prohibition or restriction, in usul al-fiqh is defined as not to do. So it is prohibited for you to do, unless there is another evidence telling us that it is okay. Then it comes from prohibition into not recommended. This is usul al-fiqh. So this gives you a tool that when I'm reading the Quran and Allah Azza wa Jal says, do this or do that. وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولِ. Allah says, obey Allah and obey the messenger. And someone says, no, obeying the messenger is not mandatory. It is recommended. What do I say to him? No, we have fundamentals of fiqh. We have usul al-fiqh. And in Arabic, it is well known. Whenever there's an order, this means that it is an obligation. It's mandatory. So whenever there is prohibition, this means it's haram. You should not do it unless there are other evidences that would help us and reduce this from obligatory into recommended or from prohibited into not recommended. And there are so many examples, and this is a very high level of knowledge, of science. It's like mathematics. Someone who is not good in calculus or in mathematics or in geometry, and you try to explain it to him, will he understand? No. Allah Azza wa Jal did not give him the knowledge to do this. Likewise with usul al-fiqh. We have so many things in it that you should know. For example, general and specific. Anyone who thinks that he memorized the Quran, he says, Ya Shaykh, mashallah, I know Quran by heart. حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةُ وَالدَّمُ وَلَحْمُ الْخِنْزِيرِ. It has been made forbidden upon you. What? The dead meat, the blood, and the swine's meat. Okay, حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةُ وَالدَّمُ. It is made forbidden for you, the dead meat and the blood. Is this a general text? Yes, it is a general text. No exceptions? There is an exception if we have evidence, if we have something that specifies it. And this is in usul al-fiqh, umum wa khusus. So when I go to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and he says that 2 blood and 2 dead meat were made lawful for us, we know that this is what? An exception, khas. So this is ulum usul al-fiqh. very detailed but very intellectual, something that only those who have good minds and ability to understand. It's not something you memorize. Okay, you can memorize it, but then you do not know how to apply it. You have to understand it. Yes, Faisal.
Sheikh, as we know that these auxiliary sciences, they evolved later. So are these usul same and equal for all the four Aimma and amongst all the scholars? And if yes, then why are there differences amongst the scholars?
Okay.
Because if the principles are equal, then it should be...
Okay, this is a good question, but it is not related to the topic. However, I will answer it, inshallah. First of all, these are auxiliary sciences that came later. However, the companions, may Allah be pleased with them, were top-notch in these sciences. Because this science of fundamentals of fiqh, usul al-fiqh, is not rocket science. It is science that is studying the Arabic language, the Quran and the Sunnah, and getting these principles from, which the companions by default had it in them. So immediately, when you find the companion, may Allah be pleased with him, doing something, he knows that this is general and this is specific. And this is how the scholars, when they came, they did not formulate a new religion. They looked into the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, compared it to the Quran, and looked how the companions acted upon it, and then they brought us this science, first of all. Second of all, the four schools of thought, in principle, if you can say like 90%, they all agree on it. Because as I said, it is not something that is made up. It is from observation and from the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and the companions, may Allah be pleased with them. However, they have a margin of 10% difference among them. Now, when you ask why did they differ, this is something that Allah created us on this. And Allah Azza wa Jal said that they will remain to differ except those whom Allah Azza wa Jal has mercy over, and that is why He created them. Did He create him to have mercy on them, or He created them to differ? This is an issue of dispute among people of tafsir. Nevertheless, this life we live in is a test. If you think that Allah Azza wa Jal would guide us all and make us all on the same pattern, on the same manhaj, then where is the test? There has to be good students and bad students. People who would apply it and people who would reject it. And that is why Allah is testing us. Now, Allah is testing us through the Quran and Sunnah. If you differ, refer back to the Quran and Sunnah. So, four schools of thought differ together. What to do? No, I am Hanafi, I'm blindly following him. I'm Hanbali, I'm blindly following him. He's Shafi'i, he's blindly following him. Is this what Allah created us for? No. Allah said, if they differ, and if you differ, if you have different opinions, what to do? Go back to the one who tells you which is the most authentic, most correct opinion. Who's that? فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ. Return it back to the Quran, to Allah Azza wa Jal, and to the Messenger alayhi salam, which is his Sunnah. So, differing is something you have to live with. Now, how to live with it is by respecting one another, is by honoring one another. But at the same time, is by going back to the fundamentals of our religion, which is the Quran and Sunnah, by applying this beautiful heritage of scholars who left that to us, and we study it and teach it, and we learn it, and we give it to others. By doing this, we will reach, inshallah, what Allah Azza wa Jal wants from us. This is all the time we have. Until we meet next time, fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.